Hello, it is lunchtime. Let's grab your coffee time. Well, I have water in here. I don't drink coffee, but it's simply Felicity time. Thank you for watching. Go ahead and share this out. Help us beat the algorithm. I want to let you, my viewers, know you've been doing an amazing job sharing out the shows. Our viewership is just increasing every week, and I cannot thank you enough for that. Want to remind you of one of my thank you gifts, this Simply Felicity mug, Simply Felicity Media. If you become a supporter on the Patreon channel, we've got some different gifts for you that you can see there. And speaking of gifts, my guest today has been a real gift to Simply Felicity Media and all of the different shows that we have on our couple of Facebook channels. And I was excited when God put it on my heart to introduce him to you. So I want to bring today on Simply Felicity Media, or Simply Felicity Show, Kevin Scott Collier. Nice to have you.
Thank you. Finally, we're together online on the show. This is great. I love the show. Big fan. I love the intro.
I know. So that's one of the gifts that Kevin has given to me is our intro and our outro. My son shot the footage, but I sent it to him and he put that all together for me. And I cannot thank you enough. I love having it.
Felicity, first off, I'll tell the viewers how there's a Three's Company parody in the intro.
If you are too young to know Three's Company, then you will have to check it out on the outro. It'll be there again. It's where I'm sitting at the desk and I kind of sneak a peek and look up. That's something from their intro, which I watched faithfully every single time that the show came on. I watched way too many reruns. I just thought Suzanne Summers was the cutest thing in the world. I love Jack Ritter. I love everybody on the show. That is such a blast from the past, even for me to remember that right now. Thank you for bringing that up.
Hey, who was the best landlord on the show, the Ropers or Don Knotts? Mr. Furley.
Oh my goodness. Didn't remember there being two landlords.
Yeah, there were the Ropers, and then later on it was Don Knotts. He played Mr. Furley.
Okay, that's right. I see. After the one left, it was the next one. I mean, Don Knotts, it's kind of hard not to go with Don Knotts. He's amazing. Yeah. So I was introduced to you and the gift that you've kind of given the world here of the Roku Network Creative Motion Network. And I was introduced to you by Dave Ebert. So special shout out to Dave. Thank you so much.
I did not know that. Maybe I did, but forgot.
Yeah. I think I mentioned it in the first text, but I might not have. I'm not really sure. And I was on his show and he had asked me if I knew about you and all that you were doing. So how long has Creative Motion Network been alive? When did you birth it?
Well, the origin of Creative Motion began with a magazine at the end of summer 2018. And after a year, the print magazine became an online magazine in the summer of 2019. Then we decided, instead of reporting on independent Christian entertainment and programming, to actually feature it. So why not do a Roku channel? And my wife had built a Roku channel before, previously, years ago. And we thought, okay, let's move forward to that. So the summer of 2020, we became a Roku channel. And then soon after that, we connected with you, and we had star quality on the network. So.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah.
That's how we began. And it's really been a wonderful experience because, from going to the channel, how many great people there are on there. I mean, wonderful people of God. I mean, entertainment and talent and creativity. And too many people think of the mainstream Christian entertainment machine as the Irwins and those kind of movies that are coming out. But there's people who have worked for those, like the Kendricks, that decided to go out on their own, and they became independent entertainment producers. And that's who we focus. We focus on the next generation of Christian entertainment.
It is so
because you
exciting.
know, Felicity, entertainment is the culture. That is what shapes the culture. I mean, that is why there are so many demonic things going into children's programming. I mean, they slip it in there as entertainment. And the child watches it and they internalize that and they eventually become that. And we don't want that evil out there. We want to counterbalance that with Jesus Christ and make it cool and have it entertaining, but entice people to bring them into the family, into the brother and sisterhood.
Amen. Have you heard of the 7 Mountains message? It's just like a Christian sermon series, and they talk, different people talk about this, where they talk about how God really wants, whether you call it marketplace ministry, or he wants people that will be at the tops of entertainment, media, education, government. These are things that somehow believers got in their mind that we should stay out of, but it's really what we need to be into, and we need to be at the tops at decision-making positions where we can have influence. And I just think that this actually ministry is a great example of that. And it's also just a great example of how creative ministry can be. We think the word ministry, what is ministry? And we get like real tunnel vision on what that means. But we definitely need people to be creative about what ministry actually is.
Yeah, we're living in an age right now where a creative person doesn't need to be beholden to the machine.
Yeah.
That people are making movies with their cell phones.
Yeah.
And they're recording music and releasing CDs with their cell phones.
Yeah.
And editing on their cell phones. So we are in an age right now where the playing field is even.
Yes.
We're even. It's been flattened, and COVID flattened it a little bit more, where it took out Disney for a year. I took out all the big guys. I mean, they had all this, they work on incredible sums of money, and that's their machine, and they need that. Now, you and I and so many other people we know out there that are independents, we don't need anything to create something.
Yes.
We're not beholden to the machine, the operation, the mechanism. We're not. We don't have to answer to them. We don't have to follow what they're doing. We're independents, and we can make entertainment in 4K, the quality, the good sound, the playing field is even.
Yes. You don't have to wait to be discovered. And right. I think I feel like society in that way has almost moved closer to what God has always wanted us to do, which is instead of waiting to be discovered, discover yourself, discover your talents, discover what God has put on the inside of you, and acknowledge it, see it as important, see it as worthy to put out in the world, right? When you see that about yourself, then like you said, nothing's holding you back. And even I know COVID did flatten it more because literally everyone so many people had to learn it. grandparents had to, if they wanted to be at the online birthday party, had to figure out how to, stream something. And so
Exactly.
literally anyone with something to say has no excuse for not getting
Yeah.
it out there.
So while the corporate got slammed down and
Yeah.
held down, we had to rise up and we leveled up on
Yeah.
tech. All of us, even grandma, like you said. And think about, I have a great story. Dave Ebert is a wonderful guy. Thanks, Dave, for connecting me to this wonderful lady here. I mean, it's been wonderful. But a good example of what I'm talking about is Maurice Brown. Now, Maurice Brown is a comedian and an entertainer. And I can imagine all of a sudden, COVID hits and he's used to doing stand-up comedy in clubs. Now that world is gone. What am I going to do? I can't perform anymore. How do I stay relevant?
Yeah, right.
When it looked like the whole world had shut down and it was over, he decides to go online and create a show. And it was the Maurice Brown Comedy Hour. And then it became the Maurice Brown Show. And now it's breaking down the four walls. This wonderful show with all these guests he has. But you see, when God provides this incredible opportunity for those who listen to him, and Maurice was a great example of this. When it seemed the world had all shut down and he wanted to stay relevant, this platform opened up for him. And he took it on himself to go online, create the show. I mean, the guests that are on the show now are fabulous. They start out, with who you can get, and eventually everybody wants to be on the show.
Right.
And what happened with Maurice here is so true for all of us, Felicity, that have been involved in this, going through the COVID and leveling up during this opportunity, this time of great opportunity, is more people know Maurice Brown now than before COVID, before the lockdown. When the lockdown happened and the whole world was shut down and he couldn't appear in a club and he was looking at his career going, what am I going to do? He stayed faithful. God opened the door and more people know Maurice Brown. He's a celebrity now.
Yeah.
He's a celebrity. And that's because he stayed faithful. Doors open, and you know what? We got on that wave, and we got on that platform. You, a lot of other people, Black conservative people. Look at Janice Pons.
Yes.
I mean,
So
what
exciting.
a wonderful show. I mean,
Yes.
Dr. Paula Price inspired her to do the show. She goes, we're all taking this leap of faith, but we're leveling up. When God opens the door, you at least better be smart enough to look inside. Take a peek. It is never our way. It is the pathway.
Yeah.
And we follow that path. And that's part of discernment. You know that, where you bring it to Jesus and you say, what do you want me to do? And then we go there. And a lot of what my wife and I tried, in media, 10 years ago, that all fell apart. We went through some really bad situations with a major network that we wrote a TV show for. It was a kids show. And the producer ended up being a real piece of work. And the whole show was scrapped. It was a terrible experience. It was actually demonic. And so we lost a network.
I just wanted to jump in here and say that is what's so powerful about having these independent platforms.
Right.
When we were sitting around waiting to be discovered or hoping to get picked up by this, but that, and you talked about how they require all these millions of dollars, that very machine also spits people in and chews them up and spits them out.
Right.
And so many people have compromised who they are because they felt they had to do these things to be relevant. And so, it sounds like, some of that, had to do with what you guys were dealing with too. I mean, whenever you get close to that stuff, it's really, the fire starts to burn in. But this is a great testimony. Always like to remind people about the power of perseverance. You guys didn't trash your cameras and say maybe, we shouldn't be in media or entertainment. So tell us what happened next. How did you make that decision to keep going?
Well, it was a really bad experience, and we wrote 26 episodes of a children's show for
Wow.
26, and I did artwork for it and all kinds of stuff. And they actually shot all 26 episodes, and we got into a fight with the producer. He was his conduct was very unbecoming of a Christian, and I just stood up and I thought, you know what? If this all has to go in the garbage, I'm not taking an opportunity and going to try to go to sleep at night as a Christian. I'm not going to do that. So it was all scrapped. And another example was there was a film that I was supposed to be in about 10 years ago, and this producer. It was a family, and we went down from Michigan down south a little bit, and I was supposed to be there in a scene where I'm in a park drawing for kids because I'm an artist. I'm an illustrator. I've drawn over 200 children's books, and always drawn all my life. But here I am waiting in this park, and at the end of the day, everybody's gone home, and I'm still sitting there, and it's like, oh yeah, we brought Kevin all the way down here so he could draw for the kids in the scene for the movie. But it was that total lack of respect. It's just like, oh, whatever, It's like a whole buffet full of food, and you only pick a few things, and that's all we want, and you throw the rest in the garbage.
Wow.
That's not a good thing.
Wow.
But what we're in now is Studio 316, which is run out of our church and Creative Motion Network, which we operate from home. Now I understand what that was all about. God wanted to see if we were going to hang with it. He doesn't want quitters. He doesn't want people that are going to go, like you said, they throw their camera away. Okay, I tried that. No, that didn't work. I tried that. None of it worked. But you know when it works, right? You know when it works.
Yeah.
You know when it works? When we're following a path, we're not pouring the concrete ourselves. We're not making the path. And that experience that we went through taught us a lot about, we've always been very civil with people, and we get along with everybody. I mean, even family members that drive us nuts on my side of the family. But
of course,
it made us more gentle with people too, because we know everybody's gone through something. And it made us more appreciative, like everybody that's on Creative Motion Network. It's embarrassing, Felicity, because people will say, oh, thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Kristin. Thank you. And I'm always blushing, going, please don't do that. I'm cringing, It's like, don't put it on me. Don't put it on me. Don't put it on me. It's like, I thank you for being on the network. I thank you for getting to know you and listening to your ministry. That is my reward. That fills my heart, and it makes you know where I'm coming from.
It makes everything that you've persevered through so worth it, right? I mean, this was why God told y'all to hang in there, that He was going to put you in a situation. First of all, couldn't have been better timing, 2020. I mean, everybody's looking for something, like nothing else is on Netflix or whatever, you know what I mean? So people, and goodness, as a believer, if you can find anything, it's rough. So anyway, you've got people with their churches shut down. I mean, literally, a lot of people couldn't go to work. There just couldn't have been a better time. for you to have
Right.
started the network. So perfect timing. You know, God had the people that he wanted to bring your way, and it
Oh,
keeps
yeah.
expanding, like it keeps growing. And I did want to let people know, I just reached out to Kevin through his Facebook page. I didn't even wait to get the number or whatever from Dave. I don't know. I just put it on your Creative Motion Network. And if you have an idea, like, we want to just encourage you to run it by Kevin. It truly is a ministry, and they're ever looking to grow and expand. When you have different shows, it can reach different people. You've got more ways of presenting the gospel and God's way of life to people. So it's just very, very exciting opportunity. And then if you're in if you're in Michigan, and I'll let you talk about the area, he is right now in Studio 316, and that also is a ministry. It's not just a place where they record the sermons from their church. Like, they want to provide a studio for people, training, help if you're wanting to put together a show. So where's Studio 316 in Michigan?
Near Grand Rapids.
Okay.
Where Grand Rapids is. So
Yeah.
we're about maybe 20 minutes away from Grand Rapids. We're very close.
Very good, very good. They had a grand opening about a month ago, so now they're just, they are open for business and bringing the community in, and it's just so exciting to see people using, their kingdom materials, to bless the world, not just like you said, not just in house. That's powerful.
Yeah, God's been able to provide for us enough. I mean, we're not rich. We live in an apartment. But he's been able to provide where we can pay our bills and go to Taco Bell once in a while. But he's right. He's enabled us to be able to come here to the church at the studio. We have a camera room I'm in right now. And then the room behind me is an editing room. And then it's got several computers in there where you can edit and record sound, all that. But the guys enabled us to be able to physically be here at the church in the Studio 316 Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10 in the morning till 5 in the evening. So we're actually physically here like it's a job. And
it's powerful.
So I hear a dog.
Yes, I've been trying to mute out. But
no, but I want to know, what's your dog's name?
Donnie. I've got Donnie and Roscoe, but Donnie's the small one that likes to really, especially when I'm doing a show, right, Donnie?
It's kind of like our cat. We have a cat named Midnight, and she is a big cat. And she loves her daddy, and she wants to be where I am all the time. I mean, she's a black cat. When we adopted her from the Noah Project, which is a Christian outreach, she had the name Midnight. And I should have renamed her Shadow. She was only 6 months old, because that would be a perfect name for her, because she is my shadow. She calls me.
Right.
But I can be loading your show or messaging you on Facebook or whatever, and she's laying right in front of me, right here on the computer screen.
Well, I think everybody wants to be in show business, and the animals are no different. They always try to get in the act.
Actually, my wife did a show about 2 years ago called Keeping Up with the Christians. And it's on, I don't know, it's still online somewhere. On pretty much network, our own channel, I forgot. It's on there under talk shows. And it was called Keeping Up with the Christians. And Midnight, our cat, was in the show. Because every time Kristin went to do the show and we recorded her, the cat was excited, ran in the room and got on desk. It was an activity for her. It's like, oh, we're doing a show? So we all go in there and she runs in there too. So we just put her on camera.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up because this is the longest he's ever barked, and yeah, I forgot to shut the shade, so this is what it's gonna be. So thank you for that.
Maybe if you fed the dog once in a while, that would help.
I know, right? They always want to make it seem like they are so deprived of love and, of course, food and everything. But anyway,
Victims. Pets play the victim all the time.
absolutely, absolutely. I want to talk about one of your latest projects. Very excited about it being able to show at film festivals and everything. Tell us about, well, I'm going to show a clip of The Color of Hope. Yeah, and then I want you to tell us about this project. So since I'm, here we go. Since I've got a filmmaker and producer on here, let's show a little media today. Here we go. Awesome. So I wanted to show that because you guys have a GoFundMe campaign running. I'm going to put the link in the comments.
So anyone
that would like to contribute, absolutely. So tell us about Color of Hope. Who's making this film? What film festival is it going to?
Well, the first film festival it's going into is the Concordia Seminary Film Festival, and it will be submitted on October 15th. And the film itself, it was kind of funny. I came up, we had another film project scheduled for Studio 316 called Aiden's Armor, and it's about a little boy that wants to be a fireman. And when he goes to the fire station, one of the firemen says to him, well, yeah, you think that having a uniform is really important, but I've got a uniform that's even bigger than that, and it's free. It's a suit of armor, a full suit of armor. And it's the coolest thing about it is it's invisible. So the little boy ends up getting a Bible, and it's about the full armor of God. But getting back to this, the pastor here at the church approached me. Well, he sent me a link actually for a film festival and said, could we enter into that? And 5 days earlier, an idea had popped into my head for this film called The Color of Hope. And it was stuck in my mind and I just couldn't get it out. And over 5 days, I thought of this over and over. And I even told my wife, I said, it's in my head. I've seen it, all the pictures and the scenes and the everything, and I don't know why, because we have this other movie we want to make, so I don't want to mess with this when we want to do Aiden's Armor. So the pastor, like I said, 5 days after I came up with this idea, he sends me a link and he says, there's this film festival coming up, can we enter it? And I thought, well, we don't have time to make Aiden's Armor and get it to them by October 15th. So then I thought, that's why that film is in my head.
Right.
Because that one I can make and submit in time. So we moved ahead with it and we shot it on September 12th, and we had the trailer done last Friday.
Wow.
And then the final cut of it, it's about 95% there. I want to check the transitions. I'm doing the editing on it. But it's hard to explain what the film is about. It's about discovering the Bible,
Mm.
discovering the Word of Christ.
It almost
And
seemed like the Bible discovered him in that clip.
right,
It's just like,
the film. I don't want to give too much away. Everybody
yeah,
says that, and then they dump the whole thing. Oh, let me tell you about it. The film is shot in black and white, and it's shot in color.
okay.
And the black and white parts represent a dim, dark world.
Mm.
It's without color, without brilliance,
Mm.
without beauty. And
Yeah,
suddenly somebody walks into this park and sits on a bench, and this Bible appears on the other side of the bench next to them.
I love it.
And they look over and they see the Bible, and half of that side of the screen, right down the middle,
Yeah,
it becomes color.
yeah.
And
Wow.
then they're looking like, what's going on there? But do you dare to step through to the beauty and color of Christ,
Phew.
which is a spectrum of everything, salvation in
Wow.
our future. So when you step through that, your whole world explodes into beautiful color.
How powerful. That's the beauty of film, guys. I mean, that's like a poem right there, but like a visual poem just to describe how we feel in our hearts about what
Yeah,
our
and
lives
it's
were
it's
before and
silent.
without Christ. Wow.
Correct. No dialogue. It's all silent.
Oh, okay. Okay. So really like a very old school silent film almost. Got your little
Yeah,
black and white and color.
yeah. It's it strikes a mood, and I just thank God because I didn't come up with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It
You
just
just said
came to
yes.
me and nagged at me and pushed me, and let's do it.
I love that. I love that. I just, so many stories today of inspiration of how to like take those God inspired actions and not give up on them, to keep them in front of you and to keep going. What are your future goals for Creative Motion Network? What are some of the things that you guys are hoping to do in the future?
Well, one of the goals I already achieved, that's being on your show.
Ah! You kept that a secret. You know what happened? You were on someone else's show and you said something about you hated interviews or
Yeah.
this was new for you or whatever, and God told me, yeah, and you're going to have him on your show next cuz he needs to get comfortable doing interviews. So I just want you to know that's one of God's goals for you.
Well, the whole thing about it was our network is about featuring you and everyone else. It's
Yeah.
about other people. It's not about my wife and I, Kristin and me. It's about you, and it's about Janice Pons. By the way, Janice, love your show.
She loves
Always
you.
save it for a special day to watch it. It's just like, okay, here we go.
Yep.
But it's about others, and I want to keep it that way. But we had a lot of requests for interviews, and we kept turning them down because we didn't want it to be about us, and it began to look bad. Well, suddenly you're like Howard Hughes and you're unapproachable, and that's not good either. I don't want to be in my pajamas with a long beard. you know
Yeah, while people make up things about who you are since you,
right.
yeah, right.
Going off the deep end. So part of being if I want to really be appreciative, I should be out there.
And
So
certainly for those of us that God calls in front of the camera, we, desire for it not to be about us either. We desire for it to be about
right.
Christ. So, we all kind of have to have the same perspective on that and just know, hey, if God calls you, he calls you. And
Right.
you definitely have a lot to share There's just been so many good little nuggets and stories in here. And like I said, and an opportunity for anyone out there that has an idea, even if you want to just see if you think it's a good idea, just take a chance on yourself, right? And give an opportunity to God to do something fresh out in the media and entertainment space, because we certainly don't need to be complaining about the things that we see if we're not, especially when we're not willing to contribute. Oftentimes, if you feel really dissatisfied, it's because God has something else and you're the one to bring it forth. So, we thank you for giving us this opportunity. Mostly, I know this is kind of feels like the reward part. Mostly, thank you for hanging in there when it was horrible. When you had all those terrible experiences. Thank you for hanging in so that God could say, well done.
Well, if you have the right heart for it, hang in there, because God will deliver. He will. He just wants to put you in the right spot, in the right platform. He knows what your skills are, your heart, your ability, and he doesn't want to squander that. He wants to put you where you can be the best use to the kingdom.
Absolutely.
And he wants you to be trained up and leveled up and ready for what he has in store for you.
Beautifully stated. Well said. Was there anything else that you wanted to share, or anything I forgot to bring up? I was kind of curious on the progress of Benny the Barnacle. There were just so many posts about that. And then is it like now in production? Is it in the can now?
In production. I'm still doing artwork for it. A lot of characters I have to model yet. I mean, I know what they look like, but I have to draw them in different, because I'm doing all the artwork for the cartoon. And then my wife takes it and she animates it. And then we have voice actors that do all the voices. So we have almost all the voices in, and I have a few more characters to model. But then she's putting it together in segments, because the whole story itself is in segments. And they're just put together.
Did you all meet, you and Kristin, did you all meet doing this kind of work?
I actually met her. I was a Christian author. I write books. I've written about 70 books.
Wow.
Yeah, and my first one that I ever had published in 2004 was a tweener book about an angel who gets an email from a boy. And then it causes a little breach in heavens, and they start to email each other. And Kristin had written a book called King of Glory. And we had both joined this Yahoo group for Christian authors.
Oh, wow.
And then I saw her posts about her book. Everybody's going there trying to sell their book. Well, I bought the book, King of Glory, and I read it. And I am always inquisitive about a person's writing reveals a little bit about who they are. And I got to know more about Kristin, about what was not written than what was written.
Wow.
And I could see there was a void. There was something about this woman. And I thought, well, the book is available. I wonder if she's available too. So we met a few times, and then she came up here from Cleveland, Ohio to Grand Haven, Michigan, and we got married. We never even dated. And
wow,
it's been 14 years, and we're happy. We're partners. We do everything together. She's my best friend.
Is this like a God-arranged marriage?
Oh, yeah. Well, it had to be.
It had to be. So you say you never dated. Does that mean like God spoke to you, God spoke to her? And I mean, how did that? Wow.
Well, it's like we met a few times, and yeah, let's just get married, move up here and get married.
Yeah,
And
I love this.
now Kristen had a son that never knew a father, so he was a boy that needed a dad. So he had grown up without a father, and he was 8 years old when first met him. And at 9, we all became a family. They all came up
Mm,
together, and that was it. And I remember, this is funny story about our wedding night, and it's appropriate. It's G.
I'm certain. I don't doubt you.
Kristen's parents and some family members were staying at a hotel, and we had just got married that Monday. And I remember her father saying, "Don't worry about it. We're going to have Jared stay at the hotel tonight because this is your wedding night and all that nonsense." And I said, "No, this boy has waited to get a father all his life.
Hmm.
On the day he saw his mother marry me, he's going to be gone?
Hmm.
No." I said, "He comes and stays with us." And you know what happened?
What?
On our wedding night, he slept in between Kristen and I.
That's so sweet. That's
Because I
just
didn't get one, I got two.
too.
God blessed me twice over.
Oh my gosh.
And he's a great kid, 23 years old now, went through college, got a great job. He goes to our church. He's here with us for Bible study on Monday. On Sunday, he's here at the church. He's going to volunteer his time. Life is good. Life
Wow.
is good. And you know what? We're not rich. We're
Wow.
not. We,
You
we don't
sound
have a
pretty rich.
boat. We don't have a house, we don't have a house. We have an apartment. We got a car that's 10 years old. And, I wrote a song for my father-in-law quite a few years ago. And one line is, "I may not be a wealthy man, but I'm rich within the Lord."
Yeah.
So when you think of riches, think about God and think about Jesus and what a rich life you have because of him.
I gotta say, you sound pretty rich to me with a life like that, Kevin, and everything that you all have been through. And I believe Kristin's been watching the whole time. I'm not sure, but Kristin, if you're watching when you watch, know that I'm excited to have you on the show whenever you are able so we can meet the other half of this power couple making moves in the Christian
now,
entertainment
now
community.
you're embarrassing me.
The man behind the myth, but not in a weird, creepy robe. Not at all.
Not in my creepy pajamas, unshaven, using a bucket for a bathroom, none of that.
When he said he's not rich, he didn't mean it like that. So anyway, no, it's been a joy having you on and just giving people a sneak peek behind the scenes of this awesome venture. Guys, if you got Roku, go to Creative Motion Network, add the channel. You'll get to see all the different content that they have. You will never have to worry about binge watching with your family.
Right.
You'll be blessed and edified by absolutely everything you see on there.
Thank you. Thanks to
Kevin,
you.
awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Great to meet you finally and
Yeah.
to introduce you to everyone. So
Thank you so much.
until next week, everyone, watch and look for the Threes Company moment. Here it comes on the outro. Bless you. See you all next week.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. Thank you.